It always acts a little funny, so we'll just have to see what happens.
Because it's live right now.
Yay!
To me.
Yay! Yay! I'm always just so grateful when it works. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live this morning. I'm Deanna, and I have a guest, a very, very special guest with me today that really needs no introduction, but I'm going to introduce her anyways. My dearest friend and teacher, Megha Kevin. Yay! Hi, Megha. Good morning. So we are, of course, pushing from Zoom. So I'm going to check over here on the page. So feel free to share this video so a lot of people can see Megha also and ask some questions, say hello, share some love, share some hearts. I'm sure Megha would love to see them.
I love the heart.
I love the hearts. Lisa, hi Lisa. Lisa says, hello, hi, how are my faves? Happy to see you both. And Pilar says, hi. So I'm so happy that you're here. You look absolutely beautiful. Nice earrings, by the way.
All right, yours are gorgeous.
Beautiful handmade earrings by Miss Megha. I'm so happy to have you on here because, yes, of course, you're an instructor on FCBD U, and you've been for a while, but, you know, we have to just like monitor how's your energy levels and everything going. So I'm so glad that we were able to align the stars and spend some time together. So I thought this morning we could, well, first Megha was like, what are we going to talk about? And I was like, I don't know. Who knows what we're going to talk about? That's the fun of it. But I thought that we could tell people a little bit about your FatChanceBellyDance Style history, because what a lot of people might not realize is how you got into FatChanceBellyDance Style, you know, ATS, as many of us are always going to call it, just out of habit, right? And and how you ended up, like, how all the different places that you've been, like all the different reiterations, is that the thing, of Devyani, all the different people that have been in Devyani, and how you've kind of gone all over the world, of course, but also all over the US, living all over the US and taking FatChanceBellyDance Style with you. And I love to think about it because I think about all the other students that you've had and all the other essentially troops that have come out of that. And like, those are my sisters, right? Those are my dance sisters. You're my dance mom and they're my dance sisters.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning, I guess. How did you even find FatChanceBellyDance Style?
Well, after the way you phrased that introduction and question, it occurred to me, I'm sorry, people, I'm trying to make sure it's as level as possible. That's the last time I'm going to go off topic. It occurred to me for the first time that it's kind of like the fool's journey.
Oh, okay.
So I won't give too much unrelated background, only to say that when I was 25, this would have been, or was it 24? One of those. 25, I think. I decided to get the hell out of Alabama because I literally felt like I was going to die there. So I jumped in my car and just drove to the furthest point on the map where I had a friend with a couch I could sleep on. And it happened to be San Francisco. And I didn't even know anything about San Francisco except streetcars and rice-a-roni. I had no idea, you know, what a cultural mecca it was, you know, what an artistic mecca it was, how beautiful it was, how you could just be yourself there, you know, and nobody even notices you, you know. So I was like the weirdest person in Birmingham that I got to San Francisco and I was invisible, and I was like, whoa. So very shortly after I got there, I was in a Middle Eastern restaurant and I saw pictures of belly dancers. And for some reason, I thought, oh, I've always wanted to do that. I think it's because I saw it in a restaurant when I was a very little girl. So that seed was in the back of my mind. And so I started asking where I can take belly dance classes, and the name that kept coming up over and over was FatChanceBellyDance. So I went for a class just by happenstance. I went to Carolina's class. But before I went, I called her and I said, can I come and observe a class to see if it's something I think I can even do? And she said, yes, of course, come on. And by the way, I fell in love with her over the phone. It was that fast. So I went for a class and I just was so entranced, I think would be the word. And this was just a class. It wasn't a performance, you know, but once you're in classes, every class is a bit of a performance because we start working together right from the beginning, you know. So I got to see little duets and trios doing the things, you know, and I was just in love. So I went to every class I could while I lived out there, which was about 2.5 years. I was in one student recital. It was a massive student recital. And I had my one little moment following in a trio. And up to then, that was the best moment of my life. And then I had to leave San Francisco. And I moved back to Birmingham first. And that's where I met up with Liz Malcolm, also Daviani member.
Yes. Hello, Liz, if you're there. I think she's working.
Yes. She was the assistant director of Daviani when I moved back to Birmingham. But I met her and Sherry Morrison, and we danced together very briefly. We did a few gigs. I mean, like, and talk about, we shouldn't have been out there yet. But we did a few gigs. And then I moved to New Orleans because I met my husband on a cruise, and we fell in love instantly. And so I started driving to New Orleans on Sundays to see him for 4 or 5 hours while his ship was in port. And then I just moved there. And so that was where I started the first Daviani dance company there. I just started, I went to sign up at a women's gym, and I put belly dance as my form of fitness activity. And they asked me if I would teach a class. So I called Carolina up and I was like, hey, I've been asked to teach a class. I just want to make sure, is that okay? And she was like, yes, the fact that you called and asked me automatically makes it okay. But also I trust you. So I'm here to support you, you know, along the way. I was like, fantastic. So I started teaching there, and the group formed from that class. And some members of the group there, which went through a few different iterations of the name, but we can talk about that at a later time, include Allie Arnold and Lisa Lala, who went on to lead Nomadic Tribal Dance Company there. Also included Lene Dunn, who is now, happy birthday, Lene!
Sorry to interrupt.
It's fine, it was perfect timing. Another one of my beautiful dance babies and dear friends. Happy birthday. I'm trying to think of, well, those are some names you might recognize, you know, in the belly dance community. I apologize to anyone I may have left out. But so we danced together there for a couple of years, and then we decided that, well, I decided I couldn't live in New Orleans anymore because of A, the huge cockroaches, B, the hurricanes after we had to flee twice in 30 days with a baby, and C, the actual murder crisis. Oh my God. They were talking about on the news every day. So we're like, we're out of here. So that's how I ended up back in Birmingham. And I started teaching there immediately because, I mean, by this point, you know, I started teaching because I had to in order to have people to dance with, you know? So again, I had to start teaching there. I was still in contact with Liz, and she immediately, you know, came to classes, and shortly thereafter, I, you know, told her I would like her to be the assistant director. Or I think even before I told her that, she came to me and said, I just want you to know that I am ready to 100% commit to these classes and this troupe. I don't want to even do any other style of belly dance right now. So I just want you to know. And I was like, great, I want you to be my assistant director. So right from the beginning, she helped build up Daviani Dance Company there in Birmingham. And then obviously Deanna joined us.
As soon as I saw you all, I was like in it. I drank the Kool-Aid.
Isn't it funny how that happens?
Yes.
You know?
But I think some of it goes back to what you said earlier. I'm taking notes, by the way, where you said, you know, as of day one, you're working together. Like as of day one, there's like this, you know, invisible thread that you're all connected because you're all in this like, oh shit, we're doing this together.
Yeah.
Like you either love it or you're like scared to death and you run, you know. I love it.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly it. So that's where Daviani Dance Company landed. We lived there for 10 years. We had our studio for 7. Did we have it for 7 years?
7 or 8 years.
Yeah. And then after it flooded for the 3rd time,
right?
We just decided not to reopen in that spot and moved out of it to renting space at a dance, a huge dance studio. But somewhere along there, I think it was when I was still in New Orleans. Yeah, when I was still in New Orleans, Carolina, I was talking to Carolina one day and she just said, you know, she was talking about some bitter experience, I think, that she'd had. And she said, you know, and then I was thinking, you know, Meg gets it. She still called me Meg at that point, but I've been going by Megha since I met my husband because that's what he called me. And now it's just my name. You know, she said, Meg gets it. You know, you never tried to like take it and change it, you know, or any of the other things that had happened to her in the past, you know, because I never had a desire to create my own thing. I really didn't even need to put my own flavor on it or anything. I just wanted to do what I had learned from her. That's what I was interested in, you know. So anyway, and she invited me to teach with a member of FatChanceBellyDance in England at a festival. And I was like, when she asked me, I was like, this is what she's hearing. Yeah, I think I could do that. I'd like to do that. I think I can do that. But really, I was jumping up and down and I was doing like the football touchdown thing, you know, where they wiggle their legs. my mom was in the kitchen and she saw me and she's like looking around the corner like, are you okay? But anyway, I was that excited, and that's where I started, you know, traveling internationally and teaching with the group. And then she said we should be partners. We should just work together, you know, because you get it. You're doing the same thing I'm doing. And so we started working together from there, which allowed me to take Daviani with me to a lot of events and workshops. And so we just really, I mean, we got so tight, y'all.
Yeah.
I just don't even know if anybody can understand what we had, you know.
I wrote that to talk about too.
Yeah. So, well, that's kind of the brief summary.
I'm going to see if we have any. Hello, I'll say hello to some people and just see if there's any questions so far. So hello, Pam. Hello, Christine. Christine says hi from Italy. Beautiful ladies. Hello, Jen McDonald and Louise. Hi, McKenna. Hi, Elizabeth. Elizabeth Lynn Rowland says, hi, Megha.
Oh, hi, Lynn.
And Lacey says, looking fabulous, ladies. And Carolina says, good morning, darlings.
Oh, Carolina.
How sweet is that?
Carolina.
I
love you,
Carolina.
I I just want to say real quickly here, and y'all, I get emotional at the drop of a pen these days, but I just want to publicly thank you again for basically the life you gave me, for trusting me and liking me, and every opportunity that you gave me to have the career that I did. I'm forever grateful. I love you.
Oh, I'm gonna cry.
Now I gotta grab the tissue. Okay.
So, oh my gosh. Oh, okay. Like you're seeing, I'm hearing you say that. So this is like from the daughter perspective, right? From the daughter student perspective. I'm like, I see Carolina's watching, and I'm like, I'm sitting here with my teacher, and her teacher is watching, and my teacher as well. And then everything that you just said to her, I felt like that was me saying it to you too. Oh. I'm like, oh. I just that teacher lineage to me is so important and so special.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm sure many of your students are watching as well. So we've got 4 generations of a family here, y'all. At least.
Right. Oh, that's right. Oh my goodness. So honor your teachers. Honor your teachers. Yeah. They work really hard for you all the time. So
yeah.
So going back, I want to go back to what you said about the bond, like the working together from day one, and what you were talking about as far as like, you know, and then all of a sudden you were traveling around with Carolina, and Devyani got to be a part of that. And so grateful for those experiences. I remember the day that you made the announcement that you were partnered with Carolina and that you were doing Tribal Pura. This was like before general skills, before teaching. Yeah. Like a lot of people don't realize, you know, there was a life before actually Carolina left San Francisco to travel. You know, that was a big deal, first of all, when she was traveling. And yeah, and before general skills, before teacher training. And so I remember that announcement. I remember like painting the Devyani studio before it opens, like such a special time. I remember all of the excitement and seeing the growth and getting to travel like as a baby. So I joined Devyani in fall of 2004. And when I came to class, Liz, Haley, Marcy, Wendy, and you, and everybody was in there and had already been dancing. And I'm this new person. And I felt already like, oh my God, I've got to keep up. You know, like these girls know what's up. And I'm like fumbling around in here. So took private lessons, you know, like every twice a week, or at least every week for a long time.
Yeah.
And with the studio, got to be there at least 3 times a week, taking classes for 2 hours or more, depending. Mm-hmm. And so Devyani, like I felt like we were still babies, and we were like getting to go dance with FatChanceBellyDance. And it was like, we had to work our asses off because we were constantly like, we're not worthy, we're not good enough, you know, but we did it. And so we worked really hard, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am to all of the work that you put into us, and all of the hard work that you know, cracked that whip, which I appreciate. Seriously, like, do it again. Okay, do it again. Okay. You know, like, I'm like thankful. So yeah, I think that when you find, I mean, it goes back to what you said, like you just showed up in San Francisco because it was as far as you could get, that there was a sofa that you could sleep on. I feel like when you're ready for your teacher, they find you, or you find them. And so you going to San Francisco at that point in time just was this perfect time for you to find your teacher. And I'm not from Alabama. I just ended up there, basically. Long story, I won't get into. And I found my teacher. And you're actually the reason I stayed there for as long as I did, was David. We were so close. People don't understand, because I've talked to people about just like troop dynamics and stuff in general. Y'all, we hung out all the time, like outside of the studio. It was the weekend. What were we going to do together? You know, so-and-so's mom, it was her birthday, their mom's birthday. Let's go have a birthday party for your mom. You know, yeah. So that's what got us. Like, I feel like that is what kept us so strong and dancing so well together. You know, yeah. we could read each other's minds. So yeah. How many times would we do a duet, and at the end of the song, like we didn't even know which one of us were leading that duet?
You know, I still to this day I see pictures of the two of us doing a duet together, and if I'm not looking closely, a lot of times I can't tell which one of them is me? We were just that in sync. And I mean, y'all, Deanna, as I've said before, is next to Carolina, obviously, the hardest working teacher that I know in FatChanceBellyDance Style. She really is. As she described, she came to private lessons multiple times a week for a while. And I really was a hard troop director. And I know I kind of got some other dancers in Birmingham, I think, just thought I was a total bitch. Not because of the way I interacted with them, but because I guess of stories from people who had come for a while, and like the way that I managed my classes and directed the troops I was really hard. I had to set a standard. I had to set a standard for two reasons. One was that I wanted my dance company, our dance company, to be the best belly dance company in Birmingham. And then as we grew, and we totally were. I mean, there's a lot of good belly dance in Birmingham, but and the other thing was I knew that if I didn't manage it that way, I would never be able to stick to what I needed to do a lot of times, because I'm actually a very I'm actually a very soft-hearted person, really. So I had to put on the director cap and tell myself, whether you like it or not, you have got to have standards and protocols and regulations, and you have to stick to it, no matter if it's something with your best friend, no matter if it's something with the newest student. I just had to separate that part of myself, because otherwise we wouldn't have gotten as far as we did. And my career depended on it. And I obviously didn't want to embarrass my teacher.
Right.
So yeah, I was hard. I think I was nice and fun too, but I was really I was strict. I let people know what the expectations were, what the rules were for participating in the troop, and everything, right up front. And then if it wasn't for some dancers, then it just wasn't. So anyway, that's all to say. I think that's why some of the other dancers in Birmingham kind of thought I was hard, but I'm really nice.
You are really nice, and you are tenderhearted, and I appreciate that. I'm the kind of person that I would be like, we have 6 a.m. practice. Okay, do you want me to help? Or 5:30 to help set up. I love that, because it does help me focus. And like I said, when you find your teacher, that's your teacher. And and I've said this before, and I say this in my classes, I'm just like you, I'm not going to be the teacher for everybody. And that is okay. There is a teacher out there for everybody. There are plenty of teachers. Take classes with everybody and find your teacher. That is totally fine. And that's okay for people to come to class and say meh, she's not my bag, and then go somewhere else. Yeah. So I found you, and the style, the way that you manage your classes, I appreciated. And the fact that we were all the best of friends. When we got into dance class, we were in dance class, right? And then we could go have drinks afterwards.
Yeah.
But we were in dance class, and Megha said, do it 5 more times and do it fantastic. And I want to be wowed. We did it 6 more times, and we did it kick ass, until it was so, yeah. I think that's important for a lot of teachers to realize, is that yes, we want our students to have a good time. Yes, we want it to be fun. It's dance. We want it to have a good time. Not everybody is there to be professional dancers. I get that. And also setting that standard so that people know when you it's all fun and games. I promise it's all fun and games. However, if you want to be in a professional troupe, and if you end up working towards that, you need to already have that kind of not status, but that have kind of that already preset expectation. And that way you don't find yourself being the really easygoing teachers, and then all of a sudden you want to create a troupe and you can't get everybody on the same page, you know?
Yeah.
So I think that that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want everybody to like us and
Yeah.
take classes, but we also want everybody to be really good dancers because that's why they're coming to us. So I think it's important balance.
Yeah. Yeah, I do too. And I'm really glad that you appreciated that.
Yeah, I do. And I tell people that because I'll say, you know, Megha made us do this drill and it was awful and I hated it at the same time, you know, but we did.
Yeah.
I was actually just telling some of my students in the musicality class about the drill that you made us do. I still remember these things because they work, where we would be in volleyball and we had to dance, and whatever movement we were doing, we had to count based off of that movement. For instance, being in an Arabic step, we would count out loud if you were leading 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. You go into Egyptian 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Going into Sananda 16, like that.
Yeah.
Was like that drill helped me so much in my head. Realize like, no, that's a 4 count move. We can't fit that in this section. You know,
Yeah.
Or count move. We have to do it at the beginning of the phrase, and things like that. That I mean, you don't, I'm just grateful that you also got to travel around and bring all of those skill sets and all of those things that you got to practice, you know, on everybody else and bring them back to us. So yeah, some of those drills,
Yeah.
you don't even know I don't know how you came up with them or where you found them, but I appreciate them. So thank you.
But as you were talking about that specific drill, I was like, dang, that was a good idea.
I know it was a good idea. Let me get in the comments real fast.
Okay.
Sarah says, hi from Huntsville. She says, roll tide. So
Roll Tide.
Anybody from Alabama, if they say roll tide or war eagle, they're saying hello. And
Yes.
if they say bless your heart, that's not a good thing.
Except sometimes.
Maybe sometimes.
But usually it's a fluffed up whipped cream topped snide remark.
Right. Olivia says, hi, it's so great to see you.
Aw,
Says,
thank
I
you.
love that exercise idea.
Yeah, run with it.
Yeah,
Please do it.
it's really super helpful, Lisa. For sure. You know, and another thing I thought people might not realize is this comes back to the name that you were talking about earlier. What does Devyani mean? How did you find the name?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, first let me apologize that they're cutting the lawn out there, which I wasn't expecting. So I hope you can't hear it. That's why I put my headphones in. Hopefully you can't hear it. Okay, so the name Devyani. Well, how much time do we have? Because seriously. Okay, we still got time.
Yeah.
It was an evolution. The first name that I gave the troupe in New Orleans, like my first official troupe, was Davy's Daughters, which I loved, you know, and everybody liked the name. We were all like, oh yeah, that's a cool name and that's who we are, you know. But unfortunately, the more we started performing and people were putting up publicity about our performances, the more often the poster read Devil's Daughters. And which I was kind of also okay with, but my assistant director there, Lisa Lala, one of the founding members of this entire Devyani experience, was very Catholic, and she said, we have got to change this name. I just cannot bear us being called Devil's Daughters. And it's New Orleans, which is a pretty damn Catholic city, you know?
Also, very much like, you know, alternative religion place. So Devil's Daughters kind of fits there too.
Yeah. But, you know, out of respect and love for Lisa and anybody else who might have been bothered about it, I brainstormed and I said, oh, okay. No, I think our student troupe was Daughters of Davy. Sorry, I can never say it right. My husband had to teach me for like 10 years. It's not Davy, it's Davy. And I'm like, you just said the same thing twice.
And tell
Goddess,
them what that means, because they might not know what Davy means.
oh, Devi means goddess. It's the goddess. And depending on how, like, what community you're from or the circumstance, she may be just a general, I mean, that may be a general title for any Indian goddess, or the creator of the universe, the mother of everything.
Mother.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then we would say Mahadevi, but a lot of people just say Devi, and you know what they're talking about. Yeah. So I married a man from India, for those of you who may not know, who has stuck with me for coming up next month, 21 years.
Yay, I love you, Vikas.
I know, I love him too. I got to give him a shout out because I'm not easy. I'm pretty high maintenance, but he's up to the challenge. Yeah, so I already, kind of, thought Indian art looked kind of cool, but I didn't know much about it, but when I met him, then I wanted to learn about his culture. And then I was like, oh my God, oh my God, I'm like a Hindu and I didn't know it.
Right.
So that's what Devi means. And so daughters of Devi, and then Devi's daughters. I can't remember if that first was the student troop name or first the troop name. But then eventually we needed to change it again for something. I think we left the student troop Daughters of Devi. And then I was reading a book about a half Indian American born woman and her experiences with her grandmother in India. And her name, or her sister's name, was Devyani, which means a gift from the goddess. And I was like, oh, hell, we're home. Because this dance is a gift from the goddess, and then ultimately everybody who got to experience the joy of this dance through us, then we were a gift from the goddess, sharing with other people so that they could have the same experience, But yeah, that's how we ended up at Devyani. And then it was just Devyani for a while. And then when I moved to back to Birmingham and we opened the studio, we made it official Devyani Dance Company, because people seeing a sign that just said Devyani, and what the hell is that? Yeah. Right. So that's how we became Devyani Dance Company.
Yes. I mean, I seriously think like I was the only, I was in Birmingham for 2 reasons. To meet Mark, for 2 reasons. I met Mark, who's my husband of 22, don't tell him I forgot, 22 years? It's been a long time. And to meet Megha and all of Devyani, right? Because when I walked in, the first class I took, it was before you had the studio, like just before the studio.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was at CDF. And I walked into class, and I actually met you because you were pulling all the costuming that you had sewn out of the car to go hang up on the ballet bar. Like I don't remember a whole lot of details, but I remember dance. I swear the first class, when I have goosebumps thinking about it, and it's been 16 years or something. The first class, when you did gratitude and explained it, I swear my eyes got like watery, because I had been studying and practicing elements of Hinduism and Wicca at that point in time. Everybody had their, don't judge, everybody had their Wiccan session, so I had already been practicing different pujas and stuff like that. And so soon, and that was when it was still called, we still called it puja, and then it, evolved. So anyways, I was home, and then when I saw you were hanging like Indian art in the studio, I was like, this is my temple. Like, this is where I'm supposed to be. And so, yeah. And then when I learned what Devyani meant, I was like, of course it does. So let me see if we have any questions. Lisi says, the counting drill is fabulous. This is a genius idea. Yay! And Lisi says Devyani is a wonderful name. So
thank you, Lisi.
Yes, it's a wonderful name. Oh my gosh. So since then you have moved to Texas.
Yes.
And I remember when you said, you were moving to Texas. I was in yoga teacher training. So I had taken a 3-month, like, can't focus on anything else except for yoga teacher training. And Megha's like, we need to talk. And I was like, uh-oh, what happened? First thing I think of is, what did I do wrong? And she's like, I'm moving to Texas. And I was like, yeah, whatever. Because at one point you were like, I'm moving to India. And I was like, no, you're not. And you really did. But it was like only for like a year or something, which I got to come visit. So it was okay.
That was awesome.
Yeah. And then, so I was like, no, you're not. And you're like, no, really, I am. And I was like, I don't have time for this. You're not moving. I was like adamant about you are not going anywhere, you know, and then you did. And so, yeah, but we still say, you know, Devyani is still, we're still here. Like, as long as, you know, we're still connected. And so it's Devyani is forever. So
yes. Yeah. Making me cry. That was a very hard conversation to have with all of you. I didn't want to leave you, but you know, we needed to have money to live, and this was where the money was at for the cost. So here we ended up.
Yeah.
And then I didn't open a studio here because I was still homeschooling Jasmine, and Caroline and I were traveling a lot at that time. And previously I had been doing both of those things and running a studio and running a dance company. And I was just like,
break.
Yeah, I just couldn't. I just couldn't. So I didn't open a studio here. Just continued to do a lot of travel with Carolina because I'm the luckiest dancer in the world.
I know. Seriously, we held down the fort, you know, every time you were traveling. And so, and you know what? And then I just have to say this, because this is another thing I appreciate about the Megha and the way that she's teaching. And this is like a lesson for every instructor. And I've learned from this, and I've done this as well. Megha was not afraid to come back and say, okay, y'all, I gotta fix something. Like, apparently I thought it was one way and it was really a different way.
Yeah.
And so we would spend like, sometimes it would be like, okay, we got this, you know, in one class we would drill and drill and drill and drill, and then we had it. And sometimes it would be like 3 weeks and we would say like, now what is it? Where is that foot again? Are you sure? And so I'm so appreciative. And that's why I feel like, I mean, to this day, I am like not afraid to say, oops, let me fix that, you know? And so.
Yeah, we're always still learning.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And you have to be. If you are a teacher, how cool is it that you can still learn stuff, you know, and that there's always something else to learn. So how inspiring is it to your students that you are still learning as well, you know? And so just own it. Just be like, whoops, y'all, I thought the box step was one way and it was actually something different.
Yeah.
In the last 3 months. It actually is not that way. So yeah. So I'm just so grateful for that, because it sets a standard, a high standard for teaching. So you instill those values in us, then we take those values and we instill them in our students. And so I think that that's really important. So Liz is over there with Dala and I'm over here with Prana, and we are, you know, trying to do those fun drills and hold people accountable and practice as much as we can. And and really try to make our teachers proud as well. So.
Well, you definitely make me proud consistently. Yeah, me too. I don't think the world wants to just watch us crying. 30 minutes of us blubbering.
Oh my gosh, that's how we felt when we were filming the extended puja for your birthday. And
oh my God,
OG Devyani girls getting together. Some of them had never even met before. We had gone that far back. Yeah, and we filmed.
Oh my God.
For those of you that don't know, Megha created an extended gratitude, which is called a puja, because it does incorporate elements of Hindu deities and stories. And so that one, I really encourage you to study the tribal, the Indian temple poses DVD
and yoga for DVD.
FCBD, it goes through that. And anytime you've been able to take a workshop with Megha on that topic, and really make sure that you understand the ins and outs of that before you go to teach it or go to do it or perform it or anything like that. That's a different topic. Oh my gosh, where was I going with that? Oh, where was I going with that?
Oh, the video.
Yes, the extended. So we did that for like all the OG, not all of us, but a lot of old school Daviani girls got together and filmed it in Zoom. And
oh, my heart.
The video that we made for Megha, where we incorporated everybody else's little happy birthday.
Oh
anyway,
my God.
We were like going through spouts of like giddiness to see each other and like tears because when was the last time we got
I can imagine. Yeah. Oh
so
my God. That
okay,
was so amazing. Thank
Jen
you,
says,
by the way.
oh, you're welcome. I mean, it's like, what can you do when you can't just all fly over there? So that was the first choice is let's all go to Texas, which Megha, there are not many reasons I would go to Texas.
I understand.
Migrations Festival, I was there for that. And what Austin isn't really
Yeah,
Texas.
Austin's not really Texas.
Not really Texas. Jen says, forever a student, hearts. And Christy,
yes,
student forever. And Cindy says, being a student is the best. And Lacey says, my troop has to relearn consistently because I keep learning new details. Yes, exactly. Or you learn a new way to explain something that then clicks better with somebody. So, I'm not going to get into the whole conversation about like, that's not what you said before. And it's like, well, no, I said something different. And at that point, that might have clicked with somebody. And now I'm telling you this way. And now that's going to click with somebody else, Yes. A lot of times it's not that. Yes, sometimes we taught it, one way and we're like, whoops, and we have to reteach it. But a lot of times we're just exploring different ways to explain the same thing because it's going to hit somebody, a little differently. So I think for teachers, it's important to take classes with other teachers because you're going to learn new ways to explain things too. So anyways, so always be a student.
Yes, always.
Especially if you're a teacher. So we're wrapping it up because we have an FCBD U, kind of like a membership monthly, what's new, what's coming kind of thing that I'll be live in about 15 minutes doing that. But before we go, I just want to thank you. I cannot even begin to thank you for everything. Like seriously, not gonna cry. Like my life is so much better because of you. And I mean, like, I can't even, I'm just not even going to try because I can't, like, hopefully you understand and I cannot even explain to you what you've given me and what you've done for me. And so just thank you. And these are happy tears. And so thank you. So I'm so amazed, that you've just put so much energy into me. And I'm so thankful for that over the years. And then now here I am with this, online FatChanceBellyDance Style school. And I get to put your classes on there. And I'm just like, yay! So the classes that we have on there that I'm gradually adding to there were classes that were previously recorded for Megha's Patreon, which I don't know I think you closed it out, but it might still be out there.
I'm in the process of closing it. I was kind of, as you were adding things, like, I'm kind of like gradually, you know what I mean? Let people's transition. So don't do the Patreon thing. Do the FCBD U thing. Yeah.
And you're still supporting Megha.
Yes.
I'm still supporting all the teachers on FCBD U. So Megha's content from Patreon is being sprinkled out throughout FCBDU. So you get like one day you'll have Megha, and one day you'll have Deanna, and one day you have Carolina, and one day you have Jen, and one day you have Lacey. And then I'm not going to tell you about the other people that are playing. It's a surprise. But today I am going to put a new video out there that is actually going to be for free for everybody. It's going to be on FCBDU, and it's drill to bounce. So just a perfect, wonderful time to just get out there and drill with Megha. So if you want to follow a really amazing, strong dancer through a song that you've probably danced to a million times and just kind of experience it in a new way, if you've ever taken a class or a workshop or anything with Megha, like I'm telling you, dancing to that drill just brings back so many memories, and just yeah, just being able to dance with your teacher again is just so wonderful. And so anyways, what a gift.
Thank you, Deanna. Thank you.
On giving.
Yes. So before we go, I just want to say this has been a lot of fun, and thank you for inviting me to do an interview. And everybody watching, go to FCBD U and check out the content there, not just me, but it is such a good deal, y'all. Anyway, go to FCBD U. Deanna will direct you there. And lastly, I just want to say, I'm so honored to be your teacher. Yeah, the honor of being your teacher brings me like so much joy, you know, obviously because we became really close friends, we became like family, but the way that you work so hard, the way that you beautifully execute this dance, the way that you share it with other people, I'm just honored.
I love
Yeah.
you.
I love you too.
I just want to make my teacher proud. Just want to make y'all proud. So
me too. All right.
Okay, so let me just make sure there are any comments. And I didn't, you know, I wasn't gonna, I'm not gonna get into all of the other stuff that Megha's going through, but just consistently sending Megha your love and your emails, and of course, Megha, please, if you ever need anything, you know that you have a whole world of support out there that's like, do you need some chocolate? Because I'm gonna mail you some chocolate. Do you need, like, what do you need, you know? So we're here for you, and we're supporting you 100,000,000%. All of that fantastic, wonderful energy that you have put throughout the entire world, which has affected people that you probably will never even realize, because you know how that continues to go. Like, may all of that come back to you 1,000,000 times.
Thank you. Thank you.
So real fast, let's see. Jen says we all learn differently, and she says, I love you ladies. Thank you for doing this. Cher says, love you guys. Christine says, wonderful, thanks. And Lisa says, bounce with Megha, heart.
Yay.
Oh, thank you so much.
Right.
I love
Thank you. I love you too. Okay. And
next month, I think.
Hey, Deanna, remember, practice, practice, practice.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.